Hey everyone, welcome back to TSI. Happy May the 4th to everyone. Today we are doing a Star Wars tier list. It's basically
just the movies.
Yeah, just the live action movies.
Yeah, so we have the 3 trilogies plus Rogue One and Solo.
And we're not doing the Clone Wars movie because
we'll make a different ranking of the Clone Wars seasons.
Yes,
so.
that'll be a fun video actually. So yeah, let's just get started. Okay, now we begin the actual tier list. We're gonna start originals and
prequels and sequels,
and then Rogue One and Solo.
Yeah.
So
let's just start with the New Hope.
Yes. So I could put this in best of the best. I think this is enjoyable.
I could also put knowing what we have coming later.
Yeah.
It might be in very good.
Like I'd say top of very good for now. Yeah, obviously it's the thing that started it all. The last time I watched it was like a year ago exactly.
I watched it a while ago.
Oh really?
I don't remember when, but it's been a long time.
I usually watch it like once every May 4th. And it's always like just really fun and enjoyable. And yeah, I think top of very good is good because a lot of the other ones are like, I mean, it's a good movie, but it's also pretty basic, so that's kind of why.
It's basic, but I mean, and it started it all off, so
exactly.
There wasn't like a lot going on.
Right, which makes sense, yeah. So, yeah, pretty good. Oh, but the Obi-Wan and Vader fight is not very good, but it makes sense.
There's a better one, though.
Yeah,
there's a better one.
Exactly.
Coming later.
Okay, Empire Strikes Back. This is a movie that, like, everyone loves of Star Wars and people consider the best one.
I personally don't like it that much.
I mean, I like it a lot. Like, I agree it's a very good movie. I don't think it's the best.
Out of the original 3, it's probably, at least in my opinion, it's the worst.
I agree. Yeah. Because, well, we'll get there later. But, like, I agree with Dylan. And I still put it in very good, just probably below New Hope. Yeah.
I'd probably put it either end of very good or in it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
I mean, it's still a great movie.
Yeah.
I recommend it. I would watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's out of the original 3. It's not my favorite.
Yeah, and we of course get the iconic "I am your father" line.
That is great. That is the best part of the movie.
Return of the Jedi. Personally, my favorite Star Wars film, which is
as is mine.
Take. Yeah.
Is it really a hot take? I don't think it's.
I mean, it kind of depends on the person. A lot of people are really liking Revenge of the Sith right now, and then Empire's always been a lot of people's favorites. The reason why I like this one so much is just because I just love the ending so much. Like, I can agree that the whole middle part,
it starts off slow, in my opinion, but like.
The ending is just so good that like it's such a satisfying conclusion,
especially with Anakin's like
redemption, definitely,
and he fulfills the prophecy.
Oh yeah, for sure, and easily the best lightsaber duel of the original 3, which I'm guessing is because in A New Hope Obi-Wan was also older too. Yeah, he's just an older guy too.
And I mean the Ewoks can't get much better than the Ewoks.
Amazing. I know a lot of people also don't like the Ewoks
for whatever reason. You couldn't like.
I know they're so cute and like they help so much. Like it's love
the same thing with the what are they called in the Last Jedi?
The Porgs. Yeah. I agree. They're like amazing. Very similar. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next trilogy.
The prequels.
The prequels. Back then, a lot of people hated this trilogy, and now it's like.
I mean, I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, for sure. With the Phantom Menace. I'm actually seeing this tonight for first time in like a long time because it's coming back to theaters. So I'm seeing that. So my opinion could very well change after tonight. But right now, this is probably my least favorite Star Wars movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just based on what I remember. It's been a really long time since I watched it.
It's been a long time since I've seen most of these. And I'm just thinking that like in the context of all the other movies, it's not my personal favorite.
Yeah, I just feel like there's some really good stuff. Of course, the lightsaber duel at the end, and then the pod race I think is great. Qui-Gon Jinn as a character alone is great, but I feel like a lot of the dialogue is super like dry.
The dialogue, and I don't like the plot really.
Yeah,
like, you would expect for a Star Wars movie to be like a lot more action.
For sure, yeah.
And it lacks, I think, in all the major departments.
And too much politics. Like I think it's good to have it because then you understand like where things are in the galaxy, but they just had too much to the point where it was so confusing.
I agree.
Yeah, so right now
I put it in meh.
Yeah, I can go with that.
I don't think it's bad enough to be yikes, and I definitely would watch it again, but I don't think it's, compared to the others, it's not that good.
Yeah, but I will say I'm excited to watch it again tonight in theaters, so maybe I'll let you guys know if my opinion ever changes. Okay, next one is Attack of the Clones. I think very underrated in my opinion, because another one people hate. I understand that, you know, some dialogue is not very good, some CGI is not very good, but overall I think the story is super entertaining. I feel like this one they have a much better mix of the politics and the action. Plus you have the love story with Anakin and Padme, which is okay. I mean, I still like it, but obviously it's much better handled in Revenge of the Sith. Right now I put it in very good. I don't know if it's better than any of the original trilogy movies, but I think I could still put it in very good.
So I don't really like Attack of the Clones, but I like it more than The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
For sure. My biggest thing, I really like how it sort of sets up Anakin's, like, departure from the good side.
Yeah.
It sets up the Clone Wars, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, like, the best part of it is the battle on Geonosis.
Yeah, definitely. The whole final battle was so good, actually.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting how, like, Dooku tried to tell Obi-Wan about, like, Palpatine. Obi-Wan wouldn't
just, like, didn't say anything.
At the very least, Obi-Wan could, like, at least, like, look into what Dooku is talking about.
Well, like, I think what's funny is that, like, the whole movie, Obi-Wan's doing this investigation on, you know, Jango Fett, or, like, like, the Sith, like, who's killing Padme, whatever, with the little, like, I don't know what it was, the harpoon thing that Jango Fett shot. But, like, he's doing this whole mission, and then when Count Dooku literally tells him,
like,
he just like doesn't do anything with it, and I just think it's like very funny parallel.
It's funny. I think I put it right now, and it's enjoyable.
Okay, yeah, we can go in the middle. Yeah.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith.
Best of the best.
Yeah.
I think it's
behind Return of the Jedi, but
this is my second favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, this is actually the one we watched it a couple weeks ago together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Well, actually, he wanted to watch The Force Awakens, but
we'll
get to that later.
Okay. Yeah, okay. But with Revenge of the Sith, it's like, I know it's probably not the best, like, in terms of quality. I'd say, the rest of the original trilogy movies are better in terms of quality, but I feel like, for me, like, enjoyability-wise, I just really enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, tons of lightsaber fights, for sure.
Yeah, especially the Mustafar one.
Definitely. That is the best fight in Star Wars.
That is the highlight of the prequels, in my opinion.
I agree. Like, I could rewatch that every single day and not get bored of that fight. And it's, like, so long, too. So many iconic quotes as well. So we'll put it...
Best of the best. Can't really do anywhere else.
Exactly. All right, next trilogy is a sequel trilogy. Definitely the most unpopular thing about Star Wars right now, I'd say.
Well, I mean, the shows.
The shows are also kind of unpopular. Yeah. But I feel like overall,
in terms of movies, I think the sequels get a lot of hate.
Yeah, which I think there is some unnecessary hate, because there's a lot of people who contradict their own opinions with it, and then also they say things about it that also happen in the prequels, and then they just proceed to, like, ignore those. So we'll start with Force Awakens, and which is what Dylan was talking about.
Yeah.
So yes, but, like, overall I do still like Revenge of the Sith more. It was just that one day where something was off with me. So we'll just go with that.
You wanted to watch the lightsaber fight with Rey and Kylo Ren
that one is
over the one with Obi-Wan and Anakin.
That was after we had watched the Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight.
No, it was before.
It was before?
Yeah, it was before.
I guess so. Okay, well, I do enjoy that fight still. But Force Awakens, it is kind of a copy of A New Hope, I guess.
Which is good, because A New Hope was...
It was good, yeah, right. And I mean, I also kind of do think that Phantom Menace took some things from A New Hope as well, like the idea of Anakin being on a desert planet, and he wants to do more with his life. And he also destroys a big...
I think they're actually all, like...
They're all very similar, yeah. So it's just that Force Awakens takes it very like a lot more. What's the word? Like Phantom Menace feels different because it's more taking aspects, whereas Force Awakens kind of took more of the story, like more of the plot points.
It just went further with it.
Right. Yeah. But overall, I think it's still very different. Lots of good scenes. I think Han's death is a really good scene.
Yeah. I think it's my personal favorite out of the sequels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I go like super back and forth with the sequels, but I think now I've gotten to the point where I realize Force Awakens is the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we'll put in it's enjoyable.
Yeah. Actually, I do think it's Attack of the Clones is better, potentially. So, but then again, like, yeah, like, because I think that's good for now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see if we want to change it. Okay, Last Jedi. I'm guessing this is probably the most divisive one in the Star Wars fandom, just because.
How so?
I know there's a lot of, well, I've seen like a lot of reviews for it, and there's this whole like bridge, like there's people who love it and there's people who hate it, like there's no in the middle, which is understandable. It's introducing a ton of new stuff, and all of that. I think with Luke's character is probably the biggest thing that's kind of that split, which, here's the thing with Luke's character, in my opinion, I think in terms of like a character arc and growth, it was a good arc, but not for his character, because it doesn't make sense for
his character's already been like established,
right? And it doesn't make sense for that he would go and exile himself.
I mean, we find out in like Rise of Skywalker, and then it starts to make more sense.
Yeah, a little
bit.
But
in the context of The Last Jedi, a lot of the stuff that he did, I agree with you, it was just like questionable.
And I think even with the context we get, it's saying that it's because he failed Kylo Ren and whatever that. But like the thing is, with Darth Vader, who was way worse than Kylo Ren, Luke still had hope in him. Luke still wanted to save him. Whereas with Kylo Ren, he just goes. Done. So I think that's the biggest problem for me. Then again, that was kind of set up in The Force Awakens. So you can't really blame The Last Jedi for what it did. It kind of had to go down that path. But me personally, what I think would have been better is if they had made Rey Luke's daughter, and maybe he put her on Jakku to keep her safe from.
Which that actually would make a lot of sense, because it kind of parallels what Obi-Wan did with Luke and Leia.
Exactly, and then exactly, and then maybe part of it going into exile is because he's sad for what he has to do to Rey. He's sad that he failed Kylo Ren. Maybe another part is that he went on that planet to go get the Jedi texts and learn new things or whatever. That could have been more like.
I remember when I saw this in theaters with my friends. We all thought it was that hilarious on the salt flats when it was. It wasn't actually Luke. It was It was projection, and we just all thought it was hilarious that like they just kept like firing at him.
I know, right?
And nothing happened. That was funny.
That was really funny. I think that was a great scene, actually. That's the thing. There's a lot of good scenes, but there's a lot of bad stuff too, like the whole Canto Bight part with Finn and Rose, and then I think a lot of the humor doesn't really land well. But the whole Luke thing was good, and it's a good parallel to Obi-Wan again. So.
And those little birds.
Oh yeah, the porgs. I love the porgs.
Those are so cute.
They are very cute. So, I think I could put it in It's Enjoyable.
I'd put it below The Force Awakens.
Yeah, but behind The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Now, The Rise of Skywalker.
This one has.
I mean, with this, it's like I enjoy it on its own. It's like an enjoyable movie, right? But it just does not fit with the other two movies at all.
It's a good movie on its own, but if you're trying to watch it as a Star Wars movie, it just doesn't make sense.
Right, because
everything seems disconnected.
Yeah, and it completely retcons everything that was introduced in The Last Jedi, basically. Like, it makes Luke this, like, happy guy all over again. He's like, you know that scene where Rey throws the lightsaber and Luke, like, catches it? And he's like, you shouldn't treat your lightsaber this way. Even though a few days before, he threw that exact same lightsaber.
Off the cliff.
Right. So it's like, I think the problem with that is like, I mean.
Then also like the high Yoda, like.
Yeah.
That was just weird.
Yeah.
That was
I just
not necessary.
Right. But I mean, it's enjoyable. There are good things. I think I really like how J.J. Abrams came back for some parts, because the whole part where Han came back as that memory, that whole scene was so good because it was a really nice callback to Han's death in Force Awakens.
Or the Death Star ruins.
Right. On the Death Star ruins. Or like parts where like Finn shows that he's Force sensitive. It's really good callbacks to the Force Awakens that make me think if J.J. Abrams had directed Last Jedi, this trilogy could have been really good because he could have actually progressed it. The problem is
when they switched directors and they kind of lost everything that they had in Force Awakens.
Yeah, Rian Johnson didn't continue, Finn's Force sensitive arc. He didn't continue Snoke being a big bad, or like Captain Phasma. All that.
That was the other thing about Snoke.
Yeah, like I kind of actually liked his death, but then again, they didn't go into his character enough. Exactly. And if they wanted him to be a Palpatine clone, that should have been set up since at least The Last Jedi. But preferably The Force Awakens, in my opinion. Yeah. For The Rise of Skywalker...
You know what I actually really like is... I like all the voices at the end.
Oh, that was awesome.
Telling Rey to just like...
That was really cool.
Like the fact that, in my opinion, was the best
scene. That was a great scene. Like, there are some really good scenes about it. And I actually watched a documentary on this like a month ago, and you can tell how hard they worked to like put in callbacks to all the other movies. And so I think they really tried. It's just they shouldn't have retconned as much from The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So I guess
in the context of Star Wars, I would put it in yikes.
Yikes. I
just think it doesn't really fit, and that's not entirely its fault.
Yeah,
it had a lot to catch up on.
Right. It's more just them switching directors.
And just feeling disconnected, and then the whole thing with Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter.
That was
I don't
know why they did that.
I watched leading up to The Rise of Skywalker, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube theorizing who's Rey's parents would be. I saw a lot of Obi-Wan. Actually, most of them I think were Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that was a big
Some of them were Luke.
Yeah.
Which I think her being Luke's daughter or Obi-Wan's daughter would have made a lot more sense.
Definitely, yeah. I think Luke could have been such a good choice because it's the Skywalker saga, so it would make more sense for
if she's a Skywalker.
Right, and also it adds to Luke's exile whole thing, and I feel like it would have just been so much better.
Yeah, but the problem is because if it's a Skywalker saga, but then she's from the family of the villain of the whole thing, it's just weird.
Kind of weird, yeah. And there's really no Skywalkers that were a centerpiece of this trilogy.
No, I mean there was Kylo Ren, but
he was. Yeah, I mean it would have been cool if they focused on him. Imagine a trilogy where you focus on the villain and his point of view. That could have been cool too. So. We'll put it.
I put it in
yikes. Yeah. Okay, Rogue One. This is one I think I watched once the first time back in 2016, and I've not watched since.
I haven't watched it either since.
That's it. I feel like it's so hard to rank because I barely remember it, to be honest.
I just remember it. I thought it was a good movie overall. There were just some parts of it that just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Especially the part where they tested the Death Star.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember everything.
Yeah, because Alderaan is the first or whatever.
Isn't that when they?
That's at least in the New Hope, that's the first time they used it.
Yeah.
But then in this movie, they actually used it before, and then.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, there are some continuity issues.
But I really like the part with the whole overall plot of the movie with getting the plans.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing with A New Hope is
how
they
it
got the Death Star.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I really like that.
Yeah, I like the idea of them taking the first line of text from A New Hope and the introduction and making that a movie. I think that's pretty cool. The Vader hallway scene is of course amazing. And then I like how they all die at the end, which is, it sounds bad in a sentence, but it's cool for a Star Wars movie because you never see all the heroes die in one movie. Like that.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So, and it puts into perspective how brutal war can be, with how, they were just trying to give those plans and it was such a huge mission and they all died at the end. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah. So
I think it's
enjoyable, I guess, or
enjoyable, or either one really.
We'll put it
because I think the plot is good. Execution should have been better.
Yeah,
and there were the one thing that gets me is the Death Star scene.
Yeah, I think we'll put it at top of meh. I'm gonna try to rewatch it at some point. Same with Phantom Menace, obviously tonight. So maybe this will change in a bit. But okay, last one. Solo: A Star Wars Story. This one, I think it's like a good movie, but again, it's just like
it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, because Han Solo, his character doesn't really make sense. Like I think the actor did a good job making his own version. Like he didn't try to copy Harrison Ford entirely. I think the problem with Han Solo in this movie is that he's just too nice, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because when we meet him in like the
A New Hope,
he's like all about like the money
himself and like money and all that stuff, and like he feels like just like a nice guy, and it feels like he goes on his arc in this movie, which doesn't make sense because his arc happens in the original trilogy.
Happens in A New Hope.
Right. So.
I like though how he meets Chewie.
Yeah, that was a really good scene. I like that. Yeah.
I mean that's really it.
Yeah.
Really.
So we'll put it, I guess in meh also. Maybe behind.
Maybe behind. Yeah. I'd put it behind a Phantom Menace.
Okay. Yeah. We'll put it there. Oh. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. So this is our tier list, guys. That's the whole thing. Overall, though, I think all Star Wars movies are amazing. So,
I think so. I mean, notice how none of them are in wouldn't watch again.
Yeah, exactly.
I would rewatch any of these 100 times over.
Yeah. It's the best franchise ever, in my opinion. Which might be a hot take, but I think it's popular enough to be there.
It's good. I mean, I think in my opinion it's better than the MCU.
Yeah, especially right now. I think I'm really liking Star Wars more than the MCU right now, but so that's the tier list. If you guys want to leave your rankings down in the comments below, feel free to.
Or if you disagree with any of us on any of these.
Exactly. And we'll try to comment back to you guys as many as we can. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy May 4th. And bye.
Bye.